5 according to your guide. So it is not a long topic as compared to the first few that we did regarding information systems in business. And last week we talked about the legal and ethical issues when it comes to information systems and the criminal side of the internet. We spoke about different risks associated with information technologies, how criminals can send fraudulent emails to get access to confidential information. We also spoke about different ways that as users we can protect ourselves from cybercrime. Do you guys have any questions from that topic from last week related to computer crime and ethical issues? If there are no questions, then we will continue with today's topic. So for those who are new, I would just like to remind everybody of our rules of engagement. To please switch off your video, mute your microphone. If you would like to ask a question, please raise your hand, or you are more than welcome to put your questions here in the chat. But most importantly, I would like for you guys to participate and feel free to ask a question or make a comment. This is a safe environment. There is no right or wrong answer. We are all here to learn. For anyone who is still having technical issues, please just send an email to this email address for all technical queries with your student number. So I asked a question earlier, which province are you joining us from? If you can just please indicate here on the chat which province you're joining from. We have extended the sessions to students from other provinces, not only Western Cape. So that would really help us if you can indicate where you are joining from. So today we are talking about protecting information resources. The outcomes for the lesson is just to explain the major security threats. Obviously, this list is not exhaustive. A lot has changed since the MIS book was written. So we're just going to cover what is included in your syllabus, and then we are going to describe security and enforcement measures and also the basic safeguards in computer and network security. Okay, thank you. I see 2 people are joining from Western Cape. Thank you for that. Others, where are you joining from? Okay, Sanaliswe is also from Western Cape. Okay, we can continue. So, how do we protect information resources? Remember, the whole point of your module information systems is about information systems in business and how they are used on a day-to-day basis. So we started with describing the functions of an information system, and then we looked at the different technologies. We looked at business intelligence and data warehouse, and then today we are looking on how to protect the information resources. So last week we touched on cybercrime and how criminals are now using technology to gain access to information and to commit fraud online. So cybercrime basically refers to illegal activities that are conducted through the internet or any other digital means. So we know that most of the things these days we are doing online. We are doing online shopping. We are doing a lot of social media stuff. So all of that is a is platforms that criminals are using to commit cyber crimes. So some of these criminal actions include hacking, phishing, ransomware, identity theft, and there is also DDoS attacks. We will speak more about that later on. But I think the most common one is hacking, which is any unauthorized access to computer systems for the purpose of stealing or manipulating data. These days, it is not only hacking of computer systems, it can be hacking of your social media accounts, hacking of your mobile device. So criminals are also getting smarter as technology is advancing. So any unauthorized access for the purpose of stealing or manipulating data is called hacking. And you have probably heard of someone saying, my phone has been hacked, or my social media account has been hacked. Someone is pretending to be me. So that is what hacking is. It is a form of cybercrime. Then we have phishing. Last week we spoke about phishing in detail, and we said it mostly happens via email, where uh, an email that looks legit is sent to unsuspecting users, and it is basically fake emails to trick a, a person to reveal personal information. Phishing emails mostly appear to be valid. Maybe you have an account with a specific bank. The phishing email will look like it is coming from your service provider, but if you look closely, you would see that something is not right. This is not how your bank usually sends their emails. So phishing is very common, and many people fall prey to this type of cybercrime because uh, it can be very convincing. And criminals can use this to steal your identity. Maybe they send you an email or an SMS with some link that you have to click and put in your information like your name and ID number, etc. And then that information is used to commit fraud. They can take credit in your name or do all sorts of things with your personal details. So it is very important as computer users to protect ourselves. So phishing is not only restricted to email, it can be in the form of SMSs. We all receive um, spam SMSs with links, but what you need to do is to make sure you don't click on any of those links because they are usually taking you to a fake website where you have to put in your personal information, and that is how criminals get hold of confidential information. So even with social media, it can happen that uh, fake messages are sent to your account, uh, someone pretending to be a friend or your bank or some service that you're subscribed to, whereas they are just using that to get your personal information. There is also attachments that often come with the phishing emails where you can click on the attachment and it installs malware on your device. But the whole purpose of phishing is to steal your personal information or login credentials so that the attacker can use it to commit fraud or to access your accounts or use it to steal money, whatever their motive is. So there are some basic things that we discussed last week on how you can protect yourself from phishing, um, like not clicking on suspicious links and not downloading any unknown attachments. If you don't know who the sender is, don't open any attachments, whether it's on email or on WhatsApp or whatever. Don't click on any suspicious links. We also spoke about multi-factor authentication, which is implemented on most services these days, where you have to verify um, with a code that you are the correct user. We also talked about uh, having antivirus software on your devices and keeping it updated to protect yourself from any phishing and malware attempts. Do you guys know how to spot a phishing email or SMS? How would you know if it's a valid SMS or a valid email that you're receiving? Have you ever encountered this? So most often with phishing, it will be the URL or the email address will have some spelling mistakes, or it would look similar to the service they are trying to personify, but look closely, you will see that there is something incorrect there, and they uh, often request sensitive information like your ID number, and they make the request is always urgent, or they will tell you in the email you have inherited $10,000 as an example. I've seen this one before. You have inherited $10,000. You need to claim it within 24 hours by clicking on this link. So that already should set a red flag for you to say this is a phishing email and not click on the link. Usually they have poor grammar in the language that is used. If it is English, it is poor English, and they usually just make generic statements, not specific to you as an individual. So those are the things you can look out for to protect yourself from phishing attempts. We spoke about that, and we spoke about ransomware, which is malicious software that locks users out of their system until a ransom is paid. There is also identity theft, where personal information is stolen to commit fraud or theft. They can um, do this using phishing to steal your personal information. And then there is this distributed denial of service attacks, where the cyber criminal will overload the system with um, traffic to so that the authorized users are not able to access the system. So it makes the system unavailable to users. That is what a DDoS attack is. So, with regards to identity theft, I think this one is very serious even to us as consumers. It happens a lot, where you have heard someone has been scammed because a criminal used their ID number to commit fraud or to open an account in their name, to get loans from banks in their name, things like that. So that is identity theft, and we need to protect ourselves from that. And ransomware, I think we did discuss it last week. So with ransomware, there was an incident, I think in 2021 in South Africa, where there was a ransomware attack on a state-owned logistics company. And this attack had serious implications. So it was at Transnet. The case study is available on the internet, where there was a ransomware attack. And then because of that, they could not process the cargo ships from the port of Durban. So there was a lot of delays in processing the cargo ships, which in the end um, had an impact on the economy. So this type of cybercrime has got significant impact on the economy. Eh, it is not only affecting individuals, it affects organizations, it affects the economy as well. So what happened at Transnet is that they had to shut down the system until the cyber attack was resolved, and employees had to resort to using manual forms to process the cargo ships. That is why it led to a lot of delays. You can Google it and read up on it if you're interested. So cybercrime is a serious concern for any organization, and it needs to be taken seriously. There is a huge impact on the economy due to cybercrime. First, we have financial losses. So it can be direct direct costs to individuals and organizations where um, they suffer financial losses due to theft or due to fraud or extortion. This includes money that is stolen through unauthorized transactions or ransom payment. So there is a direct financial loss. It can also be indirect costs, the costs related to recovering from an attack, such as legal fees, regulatory fines, and costs of improving security measures. So you can imagine after the attack on Transnet, they had to improve their cyber security. So all of that is additional costs that they had um, to pay for in order to protect the organization. Cybercrime can also impact by causing business disruptions, operational downtime. So, like I said in the example of Transnet, they had to shut down the system and there was major delays because they could not process cargo ships out of the port of Durban. So cyber attacks can disrupt business operations, leading to a loss of revenue and productivity. So here as an example, ransomware can lock critical systems, halting business processes. So this speaks to what I just explained now with the attack um, on Transnet in 2021. So when we hear of cybercrime, it is something that is happening amongst us. It is not just a theoretical term, it is actually happening in our reality in the current age. There is also reputational damage. Customers may lose trust in a company that suffers a data breach, leading to loss of business and long-term reputational damage. Uh, I don't know if you heard, I think last year there was a case with one of the banks in South Africa where there was a data breach and customers could not access their bank accounts for like half a day or so. So that causes customers to lose trust in the company because they fear that I will not have access to my money or I will not be able to purchase anything because that system will be down. So cybercrime can also cause reputational damage to companies. Can you guys think of any examples of cases where cybercrime occurred in South Africa and it led to operational downtime or reputational damage in the organization? I see in your textbook they speak a lot about American companies. So I try to give you guys examples of South African companies so that you can relate to what we are talking about. Okay. Another impact of cybercrime on the economy is increased security costs. So companies have to invest heavily in cybersecurity to prevent future attacks. So in the example of Transnet, they had to beef up their cybersecurity, and this includes spending money on security software, hardware, or hiring cybersecurity experts, which is additional costs in order to prevent another security breach. Then there is also the cost of response and recovery. After an attack, additional costs are incurred in responding to the breach and restoring systems to normal. There can also be an impact on innovation and growth. Funds that could have been used for innovation and business growth are now redirected to enhance security and to recover from the data breach. So all of that is the impact of cybercrime on the economy, and organizations always have to be um, aware of what is happening and make sure that their cybersecurity is up to date. Then another impact that we have is the global economic impact. So due to cybercrime, there is market instability. Large-scale cyber attacks can cause market instability. For example, an attack on financial institutions can affect the stock markets and investor confidence. There is also national security risks. Cybercrime can also pose threats to national security, leading to increased spending on national defense and cybersecurity measures by governments. So the same risks that we spoke about here and the same type of increased security cost that applies to private companies and organizations, it also applies to governments as well, because cybercrime is happening to government institutions as well. So as technology continues to advance, the threat of cybercrime grows, making it vital for businesses to invest in cybersecurity and to stay informed about the latest mitigation techniques. So this is just a summary about the impact of cybercrime on the economy. Do you guys have any questions or comments before I proceed? Any comments or questions? You can go and read more about this in your MIS textbook, section 5.1, and going down to 5.2 talks about the basic safeguards. Okay, so computer and network security in order to protect the information resources in the organization. So we need to protect the information and computer networking equipment, invoices transferred via EDI, electronic data interchange, new product designs, etc. So all of these are information resources that needs to be protected. So threats include sharing of passwords with coworkers. It is a security threat. Most organizations always advise users never to share your passwords. Don't write your password on a sticky note and leave it on your desk or put it on your monitor. Leaving your computer unattended while logged onto the network, it is also a security threat. So even spilling coffee on your keyboard, that is what they're saying there. So a comprehensive security system includes the hardware, the software, procedures, and personnel that collectively protect information resources. So we don't only depend on technology to protect information resources. It also includes people and staff members in the organization to act responsibly in order to protect information resources. There is the issue of confidentiality. So the system must not allow disclosing information to anyone who is not authorized to access that information. That is why with management information systems, there is always the issue of user roles and authorization so that only users who are authorized to work with certain information, they have got access to that information. Confidentiality regarding secure government agencies, regarding businesses and e-commerce, there needs to be confidentiality enforced. We also have the issue of integrity when it comes to a comprehensive security system to ensure that accuracy of information resources in an organization. So integrity is also very important. You can imagine something like a banking institution, like a bank, if they don't have integrity in their financial transactions, they would also lose a lot of money and they will also lose a lot of customers. So that is why it is important to ensure accuracy of information resources in that institution. Then we have the concept of availability. Availability ensures that computers and networks are operating as expected. This includes management information systems that must be available and working as expected. Authorized users can access the information they need when they need it. So if a system is supposed to be up and running 24 hours a day, that means it is available and that users can access information when they need to. This picture here that you see, it looks like a Rubik's cube. It is there in your book. It is called the Markham's cube. You can go look it up there. It is a framework that is used by organizations to prevent cybercrime. It is used as a framework for designing information security programs in organizations. So it is three-dimensional, similar to what a Rubik's Cube looks like, and it helps organizations to look at all the critical aspects of security. We spoke about confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So those are the three most important security goals for any organization. So the organization need to protect its data and information resources against unauthorized access and ensure integrity and availability of the system. So those are some of the important security goals. And if you look on the top of the cube, it shows transmission, storage, and processing. That is the status of the data. I think 2 weeks ago when we were talking about data warehouse, And the ETL process, we spoke about how data can have different statuses. So when data is being transmitted from one data source to another, it needs to be secure. When data is in storage in the database, it needs to be secure. That is why we have encryption, database encryption, to make sure that information resources are secure. So whether data is being actively processed or it is in storage or it is being transferred, it needs to be done in a secure manner. So that is what it means there. And on the side of the cube, we have security safeguards. I mentioned earlier that we don't only depend on technology to make sure that information resources are protected. Yes, we depend on technology, but there must be policies and practices that are enforced to make sure that even the human factors, the people working with the information resources, are compliant with the security measures. So we need to involve the human factor as well as the technology. So this is a useful framework that is still being taught in cybersecurity courses today, and it is still widely used because it provides a structured way in which organizations can think about protecting their information resources from different angles. So I think that is what this cube is about. You can go read up on it. In your textbook, it is there. It's exhibit 5.1 in your textbook, so you can go read up on that. Then we have got biometric security measures as another way to protect information resources. So the use of the physiological element to enhance security measures. So this means using things like fingerprints, facial recognition, palm print. So those are all physiological elements. And as technology is advancing, biometric systems are also advancing. Um, there are things like retinal scanning, where you stand in front of a device that scans your eye, signature analysis, voice recognition. All of those are examples of biometric security measures that are used to enhance security of information resources. Non-biometric security measures, we have firewalls. Firewalls, which is a combination of hardware and software. It acts as a filter between a private network and external networks or external computers. So a firewall is like a gatekeeper to make sure that only authorized computers or authorized users are allowed to be on the network, and it is useful to detect unauthorized traffic. If someone outside the network is trying to access the network, then it will set an alarm or send an alert to the administrator to say this is happening. So it is a barrier between the internal network to the organization and any untrusted external network like the internet. This also helps with spam emails and phishing attempts that it can inspect suspicious content and just throw that into the junk junk mail folder or spam until you as the owner of the account uh, go and move it to specify that it is not a spam. So firewalls helps to block unauthorized attempts to access the network I already mentioned, and it is based on rules that are set by the organization, and it is also helpful to prevent malware from entering the network. So it is important that the software is kept up to date in order to keep hackers from exploiting the weak points in the network and to stop sensitive data from being sent without proper authorization or permission. So, yeah, that is what a firewall is. Do you guys have any comments here? So in the diagram you can see that there is outgoing data and incoming data. So the firewall filters what is going out of the network and what is coming in into the network of an organization. So everything that enters goes through the firewall, everything that goes out of that network goes through the firewall. Other non-biometric security measures is we have intrusion detection systems that protect against both external and internal access. These are placed in front of a firewall and prevent against DDoS attacks. They also monitor network traffic, prevent, detect, and react is the approach that is followed by this intrusion detection system. So if someone is trying to hack into the system, uh, they will be able to detect that there is an attempted breach and react accordingly. It requires a lot of processing power and can affect network performance. Then we also have physical security measures like cable shielding, corner bolt, etc. That is physical security measures. Are there any questions before we go to the practice questions?
Yes, this is Lindy Wekoza. I'm just
Mhm.
wondering where it says it requires a lot of processing power. Um, which power, in essence, is this referring to? Is it electrical power or what kind of power?
No, it's not electrical power. It is um, computer power. I don't know how to explain it, but in the beginning, I think it was the second lesson where we talked about the computer processing speed and memory
Sorry, is it me that I can no longer hear, or is the problem with the facilitator? Can anyone hear me?
Apologies for that, guys. I had a network dip there. I'm back. I was trying to answer Lindy's question about the processing power. We were talking about the non-biometric security measures, where Lindy was asking regarding intrusion detection systems that it requires a lot of processing power. So processing power here is not referring to electricity, it's referring to the processing speed of the computer, that is the platform where that intrusion detection system is hosted. It needs to have the right amount of storage, it needs to have the necessary speed in order to process all the outgoing data and incoming data into the network. So that is what processing power is referring to. I hope that makes sense, Lindy.
Yes, it does. I'm clarified. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So I see some people have left the call. I was just going to go to the few review questions that we have. I'm sharing my slides again. So we said there are also physical security measures. Remember, all these security measures are to protect information resources against cybercrime. So physical security measures include cable shielding, corner bolts. I don't know what corner bolt is. Electronic trackers, identification badges. You can read more about this in chapter 5 of your MIS book. So we will just quickly go through some practice questions. You just need to put in the chat what you think is the correct answer here. So question 1 is asking, which of the following does your financial service institution use to secure the transaction you make using their phone banking service? Is it option 1, facial recognition, or 2, voice recognition, or 3, iris analysis, or hand geometry? Which option do you think is the most appropriate here?
I would go for 3, since 1, 2, and 4, they actually apply because the bank uses all of those.
Okay. So the bank uses all of these in phone banking. Okay. Others, what do you say? So yeah, like I said, with the advance in technology, the MIS book is actually behind, because if you just think about it now, how the banking apps work, they are using any of these as options to implement security measures on the banking apps. So there is no option for all of the above, but yeah. So any of these options would be correct because various banking apps uses different technologies. So here there is no right or wrong answer. Okay, if we go to the second question, is capturing and recording network traffic. Is an attempt to gain access to a network by posing as an authorized user in order to find sensitive information. So you need to select two answers here between phishing, pharming, sniffing, and spoofing. So you need to choose a combination of two answers. What do you think? Is it option one is saying A and B, phishing and pharming, A and C, phishing and sniffing, or option 3 or option 4?
Is it number 1, A and B?
A and B, you are saying phishing is capturing and recording network traffic, and B is saying pharming is an attempt to gain access to a network by posing as an authorized user. No, it cannot be A and B because we said phishing is sending fraudulent emails or SMSs that seem to come from legitimate sources in order to steal sensitive information. And I think from last week, we said sniffing is capturing and recording network traffic. This is often used by hackers to intercept information. So the first space there will be sniffing because it says sniffing is capturing and recording network traffic. So C is the answer there for the first option, sniffing, and then the second one then will have to be D. So the correct answer here is option 4, C and D. D, we are saying spoofing is an attempt to gain access to a network by posing as an authorized user in order to find sensitive information. So C and D is the answer here. So option 4 is the answer, C and D. Are you guys okay with that? Okay, thank you, Lindy, for the thumbs up. Then the last question, what happens during a DDoS attack? An unsuspecting computer is used to send an influx of confusing data messages or useless network traffic. Or option 2, antivirus software disables a virus and protects the computer or network from unauthorized access. Or option 3, intruder use private information they have gathered to break into servers and networks and steal data. or a zombie army is used to attack computers and computer networks. Which one do you think is the correct answer?
Option 4.
Option 4, a zombie army is used to attack computers or computer networks. Okay, I agree with that. Other guys, what do you think? Remember, you can always go and look up the answers in your textbook, just to make sure that we are choosing the correct answer. So all the information is there in chapter 5 of your MIS book. And I know that at the moment people are busy with assessments and preparing for the upcoming assessment. So if you need help with preparation for the assessment, please feel free to contact me. You can send me an email or reach out to me on the Teams chat. Then I'll be able to book a one-on-one consultation with you. Remember, it is not only for INF 1505. I'm available to assist also with INF 1520, with all the other computer science first year modules as well. So course 1511, course 1512, I am available to assist. You can send me an email. Last year, I was also doing sessions for visual programming, INF 1511. So if any of you are doing that module, you can reach out to me. Unfortunately, this year we don't have those sessions, but I'm still available to help with those modules as well. So if you need assistance preparing for assignments, etc., feel free to reach out to me. So I think that is it for today. I'm going to share the link for the evaluation form. If you can please just go to that evaluation link and complete the form. Then we will meet again next week at the same time. But most importantly, please feel free to share the link to this session with any other student who is registered for the modules. Next week, we're still doing INF 1505. And then up until August, we are doing INF 1505. Then from there, we will start with the INF 1520 topics. INF 1520 is only 5 lessons, so that will go quickly. So feel free to share this meeting link with anyone else who might benefit. And yeah, don't struggle on your own. You must ask for help. And remember, your lecturers are also available. You can reach them by email or through the module site. If you need any assistance, you need clarity on some content that you don't understand, you are more than welcome to contact them as well. But I'm also here to assist you guys. So thank you very much, guys. Have a good evening further. I will post them link to the slides here on the chat so that it's easy for you guys to access. And the recording link, I shared it somewhere here on the chat. You can go on the YouTube playlist to view the recordings, review the recordings later, maybe when you are preparing for exams. So I know we are a bit behind because now you are working on assessment 3. We have not done those topics yet. So if you need help with that, you can contact me as well. Okay, there is the link also for the recordings. So recordings are uploaded to that playlist each week. Then you should be able to access them. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good evening further. Bye.
Bye. Thank you very much. Bye.
Polite, you want to say something as your hand? Polite?
Oh, sorry, I pressed the wrong one. Sorry.
No, you don't have a question.
Yes.
Okay. No, it's
Thank
fine.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.